I was cornered from in front of me, and there were
As the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse nears its end, the judge in the case will issue a ruling today on exactly what charges he will allow to be considered.
The move potentially opening the door for lesser charges against Rittenhouse as jury members prepare their deliberations.
It was an emotional week for the trial, including a very tearful testimony by the defendant himself. And through it all, standing by his side, is his mother, Wendy Rittenhouse. Wendy, welcome to Fox and Friends. As a mom, I can't imagine being in your shoes, watching your son having this very emotional moment where his life is really on the line right there. How are you holding up?
Thank you for having me. I'm holding up the best I can. We're staying strong for Kyle. It was a very difficult day for our family and him, and we're getting through it.
And Wendy, are you throughout the trial, are you having an opportunity to speak to Kyle and get a sense of how he's holding up?
He's a very strong young man, and he has a lot of sport behind him, and he's doing good.
You know, Wendy, I think watching this week, many who have followed trials and were a little surprised to see Kyle took the stand. It's not common for a criminal defense defendant to take the stand. Often they choose not to testify. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Why did Kyle decide to do that? Why did he want to get up there and tell his story?
He wanted to take the stand, and he wanted to tell what happened to him that night. And I didn't know that he was going to take the stand till that day. And I was scared, but Kyle did a wonderful job, and I couldn't be prouder of him.
Wendy, even before this trial started, but even throughout this, your son has been smeared, really defamed by some of our country's most powerful citizens, including, by the way, the President of the United States, who, when he was a candidate, weighed in and called your son essentially a white supremacist. Do you know from talking to Kyle, if when this is all over, if he plans to file a defamation suit or in some way do something about, especially the President of the United States interfering in that way in the justice system and defaming him?
Our lawyers are going to handle that.
Smart.
On that note, Wendy, you've sat through the trial. You've talked to Kyle. I'm sure you've talked to Kyle's attorneys. What is your sense? What is your expectation for justice right now? We can see what's going on. You have a better vantage point, obviously, but we can see what's going on with the cameras in the courtroom. But there's a lot of external pressure. There's a lot of external pressure on the judge. We can put this up as we're talking to you. There's threats right now against the judge taking place online. I don't want to take the time to read them all, but the audience can see some of these threats as they go across the screen. And there's a lot of pressure on this jury as well. What do you think about this outside pressure versus your sense and expectation for justice?
I'm hoping that the outcome is what I expect, a not guilty verdict. But I know there's a lot of people out there who wants my son to be guilty. It's in the hands of the jury, and watching them, they've been taking notes, listening to the truth, and I hope they take that into what the outcome is going to be. Not from the media, not from the President of the United States, not from the celebrities, not from athletes. It's about the truth, and that's all I have to say about that.
Well said. It has been a media circus. Your son has been a target. He has been smeared. Do you feel like inside the courtroom, though, inside the confines, you've had a front row seat, as you mentioned, you've seen the jury, you've seen the judge. Do you feel like the process inside that courtroom and the way the judge has handled it has been fair?
Yes, like I said before, Judge Schroeder is a fair judge. He does not like the nonsense in the courtroom. And anybody that lives in Kenosha or Kenosha County knows that. And he is a fair judge. And I have respect for that.
Wendy, we talked about the judge's threats. Regardless of how this verdict comes back, I'm curious what your personal life has been like. What has life been like outside of that courtroom for you? And maybe, therefore, what can Kyle, if he's found not guilty, expect once he's back in the real world? What has your life been like?
Our lives, Kyle and my daughter's lives, and my life, it's been hectic. It's been stressful. Since August 25th, our lives changed. We had to move out of our apartment from death threats, people calling my family, people coming to my apartment. And we have a security that protects us, and hopefully our lives can go back to normal, but it probably won't. And with Kyle, he's enrolled in school, and I just want the best for him and to go on and do what he loves to do, that is taking care of people.
Yeah.
You know, that is one thing that came out of this. You could tell that Kyle has a heart for wanting to help people and wanting to serve. And even you heard the prosecution try to smear him for effectively stepping in when he was watching society break down around him.
Absolutely. You know, Wendy,
Yes.
I've been listening to legal experts all week long talking about your son's testimony and his own self-defense there. And so many of them have been so impressed with him. And there have been a lot of analysis about why. Some say it's because he's telling the truth, and so he's a good witness because of that. I'm just curious, how proud are you of how he's held up during this? I just can't imagine being his age and having the pressure of the world on him like this.
Yeah. I'm very proud of Kyle. He's a very strong, loving young man, has a heart of gold. And if you know Kyle, like everybody that's been around with him in the past year, or even since he was little, all he wanted to do was take care of people. And with him going on the stand, yeah, it was rough and it was heartbreaking and emotionally draining for him and for my family. I couldn't even be prouder of him.
Wendy Rittenhouse, thank you for taking the time this morning to take us behind the scenes, share with us your story, and tell us what's going on with Kyle. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wendy.
God bless you, Wendy.
God bless you indeed.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.